I have no compassion, care, or concern towards rapists. No, let them be damned.
Sometimes the children be like, okay, I'm going to go tell my mother, my father, and they're going to do something, and then they don't.
They want to hear फांसी पे चढ़ाओ, फांसी पे चढ़ाओ, फांसी पे चढ़ाओ. I don't need you to say anything anymore. I need you to act.
मुझे तो स्कूल वापस आना ही नहीं था.
Okay, Param, go back to your place. Who's coming next? Shreya, आप आ जाओ.
ये वेकेशन मैं अपने दादू दादी के घर गई थी. दादू ने मुझे हौसी हौसी खेलना सिखाया. पहले अपनी गोदी में बिठाया और फिर ऐसे ऐसे झुलाया. फिर उन्होंने उनका हाथ मेरे पैरों के बीच में डाल के धीरे से कहा, अब हौसी पास भागेगा, बहुत मजा आएगा. आज भी मैं स्कूल के बाद दादू के साथ हंसी हंसी खेलूंगी. बाय मिस.
Shreya.
If you follow MissMalini, you'll have noticed that we recently started our campaign for social awareness called It Ends With Me, where we introspected on what we can do to drive real social change. Because like you, we're tired of the inequality, discrimination, trolling, sexism, and violence we see in the news on a daily basis. And it's time for us all to do something about it. It's time for us to make the pledge that all of this ends with us. That's why my guest today is so important. She's a supernova of social activism, and she's doing it for the girls. Trisha Shetty is the founder of She Says, an online platform designed to rehabilitate and empower women to combat sexual abuse. And she's hell-bent on having the women of India heard and helped. I think everyone needs to hear what she has to say, so stay with us. Hey guys, today I'm sitting here with Trisha Shetty. She's the founder of She Says, and I am such a huge fan. I have to tell you, so I watched you on this panel and you were just a firecracker, and you were talking to like a host of people, as they do, you know, where you have like 15 people in boxes and you were telling everyone, I'm not done, let me finish, I have this to say. I want to know where this firebrand comes from, this courage, and why do this at all?
When you get a call from a father that says, I have a 4.5-year-old child and she's been raped. I need help. I went to the hospital and they didn't treat my child properly. I need help. And you show up on ground and you visit the hospital with them. And when you see the kind of injustice and re-victimization that women, that survivors' families, that victims' families, that young children go through for no fault of their own, and that breaks you. But then, not showing up is not an option. That father shows up every time for the courtroom. He once had diarrhea and he called me to be like, ma'am, I have diarrhea. I can't show up to the courtroom. Is it okay? I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to be there. It's not a problem. He still showed up. He ran to the bathroom every 2 minutes, but he still showed up.
Wow.
When they show up after facing the worst kind of atrocities and injustice and don't lose hope and are resilient, that's where the drive and anger comes from. And then when I go to these debates and I see these politicians passing the blame game and saying, oh, when your party was in power, this is what you did to women, and don't look at us because at least we're not as bad as you. It's a disservice to women and children at large.
But what do they say, like in their response? I mean, are they saying anything that's satisfying to you? What should they say?
See, here's where I draw the line. I don't need you to say anything anymore. I need you to act. When you have elected officials who say women are like gold, if you expose them, they will get assaulted, or, men are men, they'll rape, or women politicians like Mamta Banerjee, and I have no issues taking names and naming and shaming, who after Suzette Jordan, the brave Park Street rape survivor, who said, call me by my name. Don't call me a Park Street rape survivor, call me by my name. She said, Ari, this woman could not have been raped. She's taking her name. This is a Maoist conspiracy. This is a stupid, silly incident. So when they do these things, I feel like it's incumbent upon us as, right holders, as tax-paying citizens, to call them out and say, I don't need you to come on record and apologize or say, I condemn this. This is why my statement was, I don't need you to condemn. We want answers. We want accountability. Make sure these people who hold such position, who hold such abominable views, don't hold elected positions anymore because they don't deserve to.
I really want to know more about you. You studied law. What made you choose to take this, social activist route? You didn't have to do that, right? Was there something that flipped the switch for you in a sense?
I mean, I don't know any other identity. I am a social activist, which is, and for me, there's no off switch when it comes to my work. This is, like if I'm out in a public space and I see a girl in a, vulnerable situation, I'll instantly jump in. Like I am that person who, in a bar, if a girl is intoxicated, I'm making sure, I'm like, oh, do you have someone? I'm taking you. Yeah. And very often they look at me being like, do you work here? I'll be like, no, like I'm not getting paid for this. You're puking on me. I'm not getting paid for this. When I see injustice, I've been raised by a feminist mother without knowing she's a feminist. Like she always said, don't minimize yourselves. Don't apologize for your presence. And if you see if you're being wronged, speak up. It may be aggressive, but my philosophy is if food, clothing, shelter is a guarantee for you, and you are not living in a war-torn area where your safety is not accounted for, then speak up for some issue.
So I get you always wanted to do this and you feel strongly. Is it much harder than you anticipated it would be?
Most definitely. I remember the first time I spoke about marital rape on Arnab's show. Actually, that's the first time I was on proper national debate. And I made a statement that said marriage is not a license for sex, right? And they tweeted that out from the Times Now handle. And the amount of vitriol and trolling I received right after that, and it was 99% hate, where I had to take a step back and go, question my sanity and what I was saying. Because I was like, whoa, if there's so much hate, is what I'm saying wrong?
But the thing is, was it only men or was it women as well?
It's no. So there are a lot of prominent male rights activists who are women actually at the front line of this. So I wouldn't really, generalize just men. And I'm not really a restrained, apologetic person. I'm not. And I have opinions and I back my opinions with statistics and data. And if I feel like what you're saying is discriminatory, I will call you out.
So I told everyone on the Girl Tribe that I'm going to be talking to you, and everyone had a ton of questions, but I had to select just a few. And this one actually is my mother. And then she said that recently I heard a lawyer speak when asked about what the punishment for rapists should be. And the lawyer said, well, we should educate them. We should rehabilitate them. And she feels that unless a harsh punishment is given, like the death penalty, then they're not going to stop. And you can educate boys who are in the nursery or before they're preteens. And when they're grown-up men, they're doing it on purpose. So they must have capital punishment. What do you think?
So I think there are two questions here. Treatment towards rapists and how do you address crimes against women, right? Or children. So I have no compassion, care, or concern towards rapists. I am not a behavioral doctor, XYZ. So I direct very little energy towards how can we stop potential rapists and this and that, and what can we do to rehabilitate rapists? No, let them be damned. Coming to the death penalty ordinance that was passed. Now, it's unfortunate that people don't realize what they're asking for. I believe that the government and the ordinance that they've passed has been very reactionary. They've almost tried to pacify the people's anger and not done what they needed to do to ensure women and children will be safe, but passed around like one lollipop of a death penalty saying, oh, we'll do this for you. And people have been saying, but what about the rights of children over the age of 12? Shouldn't their rapists be given death sentence as well? Now, my point is, let's look at data and statistics, like National Crime Records Bureau data. It actually has a section that lists down the relationship of the rapist to the child, right? So in 99 to 100% of the cases in states, the child knows the rapist directly in India.
Wow.
And they've even listed down the relationship of the rapist to the child with regards to when the rapist was a brother, grandfather, dad, of relation to the child, or close family relation. Simple question to the people. Firstly, the people just don't report child sexual
At all,
abuse.
yeah.
Very few people do. But do you think they're likely to report if they believe that the rapist, who's a close family member or closely known to the child, will be given death sentence? What will they do instead? They will harm the child, right?
Cover it up,
To cover it up. Second thing is, it's empirical data and evidence. Death sentence has not served as a deterrent ever. Ever. It's the assurity of justice. It's the assurity that law will strike down upon you that serves as a deterrent. After the Nirbhaya case, where her rapists were given the death sentence, crimes against women has not gone down. It's gone up by 83%. Crimes against children has gone up by 80% in the last 2 years. And even the Nirbhaya rapists, they're still alive. Because unfortunately there's protocol in place where you can't just, say, I award you the death sentence, and the next day he goes down to the guillotine and his head is chopped off. That's not the way it works. And thirdly, the government is abdicating its duty. We have a less than 30% conviction rate. The sentences are not heard on time, even though the Section 35 of the POCSO Act says that cases of child sexual abuse must be tried within 1 year. In practice, it's not, because how will a case be tried, Malini, if it takes close to a year for forensic labs to produce the medical evidence to court? Charge sheet is not filed on time. So how will a case be tried on time? And it's the level of, the criminals are emboldened because they're not scared of the law. And these kind of conversations are not what sells to audience at large.
Course.
They want to hear फांसी पे चढ़ाओ, फांसी पे चढ़ाओ, फांसी पे चढ़ाओ. But फांसी पे चढ़ा क्या, children are not going to be any safer. First, तो फांसी पे चढ़ते ही नहीं है. कितनों को फांसी पे चढ़ाओगे? How many people will you hang? Right? Every household, children are being abused. Have honest conversations with people in your own household. Malini, my team and I, we go and talk to children in schools. We take gender sensitization seminars. The most affluent of schools and colleges. The amount of students we have after every session who come forward and say, we've been sexually abused. Every second child in our country has been sexually abused, out of which 51.4% of them are young boys. That's the real statistic and data, right? And again, children in middle class, upper middle class, affluent families are being sexually abused. Over 97%, I told you this data, is by someone known to the child. So it's one creepy uncle, it's your math tutor, it's your friend's father who's picking you up from school and touching you whilst his daughter is right next to him and putting his hand up your school uniform. It's your math tutor when giving tuitions is groping you. It's your, it's your bus conductor, or it could be someone, it could be your own, father, brother. And these conversations become too uncomfortable. And then these middle class, upper middle class families will say, ghar ki baat ghar pe rakho, family shame, child will get over it, child will forget about it, people will talk, society will talk, I'm doing this to protect my child. And to the parents who are still apprehensive, the POCSO Act, which is Protection of Children Against Sexual Offences, is a very strong act. In no way can you disclose the identity of the child, the identity of the parents, the area the child lives at, the locality, the school, any kind of identifying markers that may help you track the child or identify the child. You cannot disclose the name and identity.
What happens is, as soon as somebody reports something, like suddenly the news is all over it. So
the media has strict gag rules. More often than not, you pick up a child sexual abuse case in the papers, child's name is never disclosed. It's very friendly towards the child, the system. You don't have to go to the police station more than once. People in civilian clothes can come, take your statement, and once it's done, all the hearings is in-camera proceedings, which basically means it's not open to the public. The child has to go to a different room with the parents to give the statement, even to the magistrate, the judge, and the system is very child-friendly. But the point is, even if they're hesitant towards reporting, Malini, they don't even send their children for counseling. For therapy, they think my child will get over it. Send the child for therapy. That is a non-negotiable.
This is the bigger problem. It's like sometimes the children be like, okay, I'm going to go tell my mother, my father, and they're going to do something, and then they don't. And that's probably even more shattering.
And that is exactly right. More than the abuse, it's the feeling of being let down by your own parents, that they didn't care enough. It's trauma, that's unaddressed trauma. You try and seek recourse elsewhere. And of course, it will strain a relationship when you feel let down by the person you trusted the most. And children don't buy excuses like, I don't report it because, a family will say something and concept of shame. And I think we really need to switch that thing off about, if someone touches my body without my consent, it's not my shame to bear. It just isn't, and it's just not. And even start having conversations about not asking the child just before you abused, what did you do? Because there's no way I can invite molestation, harassment, or abuse.
No matter what, yeah.
Correct. And there's no way I could have prevented it either.
There are definitely things that people can do to help their children at this stage. There's a video you showed me called Komal. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I thought it was fascinating.
So Komal is a beautiful, almost like a toolkit. I look at it as a toolkit, and it talks about a young girl who, another cute, creepy uncle who is touching her and sexually abusing her, and really makes her realize that if someone is touching you in 4 certain areas of your body, how can you speak about it to your family members? For parents, it's uncomfortable for them to have that talk with their children about, safe touch and unsafe touch, and if someone touches you, what you can do. So what they can instead do is go online, download this video and show it to your child and say, if this is happening to you, reach out to me.
Trisha, your words blow my mind. And I could literally sit here and listen to you forever. And I really want to spend more time again. Thank you so much
thank you
for being here. And I think the Girl Tribe has learned so much from you today. And I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me.
Yes.
I ask everyone to put a pledge on the board, something that they pledge to do as a woman for women. So please, a pledge for me. All right, what's your pledge?
So my Girl Tribe pledge, is to unapologetically speak up and demand for better for the women and children of our country.
I love it. Please add it to my Girl Tribe Wall of Fame.
Done. I really didn't do that as appealingly as I would have liked.
The struggle is real, but this has been absolutely amazing. And I can listen to you for hours. And I can as well, because you have your own show.
That is correct. Unapologetic Conviction on Twitter.
I think that's amazing, because social media is going to spread the word for women everywhere. And Trisha's part of the tribe, and you've seen her. She puts comments up as well. So we're going to catch you right back there. Thanks for watching.